Okay, we're live.
Who Dat?
It worked. Who Dey? I don't know why it wouldn't work, but I'm just happy to be here.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just here so I don't get fined. I think that's the phrase I was trying to think of.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, so we are here today. The main thing with the episode thing we've been doing the last couple of weeks is we've been talking about why your favorite team is going to suck this year. But we already did that. We got through all the teams. So now we're going to it's going to be much nicer to you, and say why your team is going to be good this year. So today's the AFC episode, which means I'm going to have a much better time than I did the last time we did an AFC episode. But next week we have to talk nicely about Mikey and his Saints. Well, the Saints. I don't know about Mikey, but
what I do.
I didn't do anything. I'm saying we don't have to be. I'm saying we're not required to be nice to you next week. We're required to be nice to the Saints next week.
That's it. You know what? Cool guy. You got the cool guy.
We're on a mission from God.
So now you are legally to be nice to me because now you got cool Mikey. Cool Mikey.
So I think. So would I be Jim Belushi or the other one?
Huh?
Blues Brothers. Never mind.
Yeah, I really cannot see you though.
I'm a soul man.
Right.
Okay, so I could see just fine personally, but maybe.
Why? I legally need glasses. So.
Oh, right. You had to take off. Right. Okay. You know they make prescription sunglasses, right?
What?
You know they make prescription sunglasses, right?
Now I do now since you just told me.
Now you know that. So that's a thing that you could look into, possibly. I don't know.
These are funny enough, Saint sunglasses. You see that little Saint right there?
I do.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I do anymore, but I had some Bengal sunglasses, but they were garbage quality, so I never wore them.
Oh wow.
I just had them because I think they gave them away for free at a game or something like that.
Mm.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's dive into the AFC and talk about why every team, including the Tennessee Titans, are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
I didn't know it was going to be that difficult.
Well, yes, you did. You knew what we were doing.
Right.
Now, I mean, it may happen to be, even though despite the prediction that I made, I even surprised myself with that prediction, but it may happen to be with some of these teams, we might have to do a little bit more reaching than other teams, but
goofy.
But by the law of the universe, technically all 32 teams have to have some chance in hell. In theory, a meteor could come strike every single city that is not Cleveland, and then could also strike Cleveland, which might probably actually make the Browns better. Okay. So, but we're not talking about the Browns yet. We'll get to the Browns. We're going to start with the AFC East.
All right.
And we're going to start with the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. Pretty easy one.
Yeah, that one's not too difficult. They should be in contention this year for sure, if they could actually have any success in the fucking playoffs. But
right.
We're going to talk about why that will happen right now. I don't get to be snarky.
Uh-huh. So, look, the Buffalo Bills winning Super Bowl this year because Josh Allen will remain one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in football, and he will finally lead his team through the playoffs and win that Super Bowl because Josh Allen is everything that the Bills fans are all about. So, yeah.
Well, right. Obviously, it's really going to come down to, can Josh Allen actually get the job done when it matters? Because, Josh Allen gets the job done a lot. Less successful when, when the pressure's really on, right? I'm not saying he's Andy Dalton in terms of, shrinking in the moment, but he's definitely at least Lamar Jackson when it comes to shrinking in the moment.
I think Josh Allen's a little bit better than Lamar in the playoffs.
I mean, a little bit, but I mean, we're splitting hairs here. It's the same. It's
But
the
here's
same
the thing.
general. It's the same
Josh
general
Allen-
issue. Just Josh Allen isn't quite as bad at Lamar.
Josh Allen, he's had some good playoff games, right? Like, he's had some good playoff games. I have yet to see a playoff game where Lamar Jackson's like, oh my God, he's the best quarterback in the dang league. I've yet to see that.
I have seen very few games actually where I watch Lamar Jackson and think that he's, oh my God, he must be the best quarterback in the league when he's not playing the Bengals.
Okay.
We have a habit of making him look like fucking God tier, but when he's not playing the Bengals, I'm not saying he's never had a good game that's against a team other than the Bengals. I'm just saying I can't think of off the top of my head any one game where I'm like, oh, that Lamar Jackson guy, he's clearly like, you know, a top 2 quarterback in the league, except for when he plays the fucking Bengals.
Yep. I mean, that is where the Houdini play came from.
Exactly, right.
He is Houdini.
We will get to the Colts here in a second, Colts professor. Well, not in a second. We'll get to them in a while. But they're coming. They're coming. But he says Daniel Jones is better than Josh Allen. And so you you don't get to talk. We're going to say things that we're going to at least try to make sense to some extent.
No, that is something, Kyle, that is something that we call delusion.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying me and you are going to at least try to make sense to some extent or another. But Daniel Jones being better than Josh Allen is special.
Josh Allen can lose. The Bills can go 0-17 this year, and I guarantee you Josh Allen will still be a better quarterback than Daniel Jones.
The Bills can go 0-17, and the Colts can go 17-0, and I still think I'd probably come out of it thinking Josh Allen's a better quarterback.
Yes, exactly.
So, I mean, I see a world. I could see a world where that happens, and we're all just like at the end of the season, we're like, what the fuck? Right? But that's my point. That would be my reaction if at the end of the season we're all like, Daniel Jones is better than Josh Allen. Like, clearly, that would, whatever happened, I'd be like, what the fuck? That would just be the whole. That'd be the analysis. That'd be like, we'd put out a whole episode where I'm just staring blankly into the camera, like, what the fuck just happened? What?
Right. Tut.
No, he's not. Colts professor Daniel Jones is. If you recall from the AFC Why Your Team's Gonna Suck episode, I had some things to say about Daniel Jones. So,
right, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, but anyway, the Bills. So Mikey's like, it's because Josh Allen elevates them and takes them places. That's pretty much my thought process. Mikey, I can't remember if we talked about this on the show or not, and I said I was going to talk about it before I hit the live button. But I can't remember if we actually mentioned this before. But did you know that Pete Carmichael's their offensive coordinator now?
Oh yeah, I already knew that.
That's not their head coach is Joe Brady and their offensive coordinator is Pete Carmichael. Like,
here's my thing. Right? Here's
look,
my thing.
Look, this is the why your team is going to win the Super Bowl episode. So I'm going to keep this part of it very brief. But good Lord, guys, like, I don't know what, like, you had Sean McDermott and now you have Joe Brady and Pete Carmichael. Like, that's not good.
Look, here's my thing. Pete Carmichael, he's not going to be calling plays, which the reason that he was with the Saints for so long is because he wasn't calling plays when Sean Payton was in town. Yeah. But Sean Payton basically retired for a year. Dennis Allen begged Pete Carmichael to be the offensive coordinator. I will say this, though. Pete Carmichael, you can still go suck it because you ruined 2 years of my life. All right, come on.
So Teddy Belcher, what it's supposed to mean is this season. Maybe I should have said this season in the title. But essentially when we talk about this year in the NFL, it's like, yes, 2027 is the physical year where the Super Bowl will happen, but the 26th season. So anyway, Josh Allen, it's really going to revolve around, like, can Josh Allen really become, like, I don't know, it's hard to say because, like, Josh Allen's already, like, one of the elites of the elite in the NFL. So you can't even just say, like, oh, if Josh Allen takes that next step, like, what next step? The next step of, I guess, coming, like showing up in the moment. But other than that, he's taken all the steps at this point. I think DJ Moore is going to really fit well with that offense.
Right.
I'm concerned about Pete Carmichael being the coordinator.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm concerned too. Like, if the Bills miss the playoffs and you come to honestly, if the Bills miss the playoffs this year, I won't even be surprised. You know why? Because they got the devil coaching their team.
Oh wait, no, I think he's dead. Who am I thinking of? So like their new defensive coordinator is Jim Leonard, right?
Yeah.
Who am I? I'm thinking of Jim. Who was like it was like a former Saints head coach named Jim. Who am I thinking of?
Jim Mora?
No, not Jim Mora. Jim Haslett. Haslett, is that who I'm thinking of?
I don't know. All I know is Jim Mora.
Jim Haslett's who I'm thinking of. He was your head coach from 2000 to 2005. He was basically the guy before Sean Payton, essentially.
Right.
And so that when I read Jim, when I initially read Jim Leonard, I thought Jim Haslett, but Jim Leonard, I think, could be he was really impressive with what he did with the Broncos, right? So I think Jim Leonard could really kind of help solidify that Bills defense. And if you've got the Bills defense and the Bills offense working in sync, I mean, like, we want to talk about reasons why the Bills could win the Super Bowl. I mean, that's it. Like, I mean, if you could have both sides of the football actually working together for once,
right,
instead of one side's good, one side's bad, one side's not living up, one side's whatever, like that's the main thing with the Bills. Like, they've got all of the potential to be there. Like, they're one of the teams that we talk about in terms of like most likely teams to win the Super Bowl, despite the fact that they haven't even been there. There's a reason why the Bills are always in that conversation, because there's just so much talent, there's so much potential, and I really think Jim Leonard could make a big difference. And so it's really just, for me, it's going to come down to, can Joe Brady and Pete Carmichael actually function properly? Because, I mean, if we know one thing about Pete Carmichael on this show, is that he makes Mikey want to put a stake through his eyes.
Thank you to Colts Professor. Thank you for the kind words. All right.
Thank you.
Just had to get my mind off of good old Pete. All right. And when I say good old Pete, I hope y'all know I'm being sarcastic. There is nothing good about run. Like, dude, we called 5 screen in 2022. The Saints called 5 screen passes when you have Alvin Kamara on your team. It's just stupid.
How successful were those screenplays, though? That's my question.
They were pretty well, when our offensive line was not garbage.
Well, maybe that's why he didn't do it, because offensive line was garbage.
Alvin Kamara.
I mean, fair. Although I will say, I remember screenplays being the bane of my existence when we had Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon, in theory, should be exactly the kind of running back who would make stuff like that work, but it never worked for us.
Alvin Kamara's always been a pretty good guy at screens.
I don't know.
The dude is like an iPad person. He loves them screens.
You really went a long way to make that one work, I think.
Okay.
All right. So it's like, if Josh Allen can be Superman, they got a real shot. And the good news is he kind of already is. So, he needs to be consistently there in big games. But it's also, in Josh Allen's defense, it's not all Josh Allen's fault in those big games. Like, the Bills in general. And this is probably why Sean McDermott got fired, even though I think it's a massive overreaction. But it's probably why Sean McDermott got fired, because the Bills as a whole really did have a problem with showing up in big games. And it wasn't all Josh Allen. So
that's what I've been saying for the past few years. Like, Josh Allen, and look, I think of Josh Allen kind of like how I think of Drew Brees in a sense, where it's like Josh Allen can make magic happen, right? He can make magic. Like, he can turn nothing into something. And most of, like, for example, the 13-second game, he went right down the field twice and got the Bills in the scoring touchdown. But he had no control what his defense did after that. And then you have, like, the Broncos game. Yes, 4 turnovers. Not good. But like the Bengals game, he was playing in the damn blizzard. I mean, stuff like that happens. So,
all right. So now, you ever been like, maybe not you specifically, Mikey, but maybe you've been in a car when this is happening. But you ever been just like driving down the road and then like, you know, something kind of happens, you have to like swerve and just like, oh shit, what the hell's going on? You like, you know, had to like, you know, lose control of the car a little bit, and you kind of like you skid back into the right discussion, and so that's what we're gonna do by who we're going to next, and that's the Miami Dolphins.
All right, so
we're going from the Bills to the Dolphins as to why these two teams are going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay, I have 3 scenarios. Which do you want to hear? The realistic scenario, the semi-realistic scenario, or the one that's out of the blue? Which one do you want to hear first?
I guess go in reverse order of realism.
All right, so the one that's out of the blue is that the Dolphins' offense scores points. Okay, that's number 1.
Okay, so what's the realistic idea?
The realistic one is that all 31 teams die in a plane crash.
I'm not sure which is more realistic, the Dolphins' offense scoring some points or every team in the NFL dying in a plane crash. Did the Dolphins even win the Super Bowl at that point? Like interesting. So this is a tangent. But I was watching a video. I forget the name of the creator. I wish I could give him a shout out because it was a pretty good video. But I was watching a video earlier today. Maybe I can find it real quick. But it was basically a history of like all of the defunct NFL teams. And I forget which team it was, but there was like one of those early teams that like was on pace to win a championship, and something happened to where the team that they were going up against like folded before they got there, so they couldn't really play the national championship game, and then they couldn't really, you know, be considered the champions at that point. So what the guy did, the owner of the team, what he did is he went and found a bunch of high school students and paid them to play in the game against his professional players. And then when the commissioner of the league, and so they played the game, and obviously the professional team won. And so when the commissioner of the league found out that he did this, he basically kicked the team out of the league for it.
Okay, then.
And he barred that guy from ever owning an NFL team again. And then apparently, like a couple years later, he rescinded that ban. But yeah, I forget the name of the team, and I forget the name of the creator who made that video. But it was a good video. So if I can find it, I'll give him a shout out.
All right. Well, you want to hear the semi-realistic option?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanos comes and he wipes out the entire league except for the Miami Dolphins.
So do you have like an actual like football answer?
I told you, offense score points.
So why is the offense who's gonna score the points though? That I'm genuinely curious about who's gonna score points. Like, is Malik gonna run like score touchdowns running on the ground constantly or something?
Devon Achane becomes the next Barry Sanders.
Well, Devon Achane, okay, to be fair, Devon Achane was part of the 70-20 game.
He did do that.
Yeah.
He was a big part. He does have explosive speed. No, dude,
I remember I had him on my fantasy team, and I think I had him spot starting because of an injury. And I was just like, I was absolutely on cloud 9 when I saw he was pulling the game like that. I was like, let's go.
I remember I predicted the Broncos to win that game.
That didn't happen.
I know.
I think in your defense, I can't remember, but I think in your defense, I think I predicted the Broncos to win that game too.
Yeah, and that was before Jerry Jeudy. You know, back then when Jerry Jeudy was actually somewhat good at football. You know. but then he was hurt. Or no, it was the other way around. Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins, he was out that game, I think.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I think the Broncos will win this game. Apparently, they don't need Jalen Waddle to drop 70 points, and now ironically he plays for the Broncos. So hey, it's crazy.
So here is the real, genuine reason why the Miami Dolphins are going to win the Super Bowl this year, right? Okay.
Now, a lot of these people, but go ahead.
It's going to start with Malik Willis secretly being Brad Johnson.
What does he got to do with anything?
He won a Super Bowl one time.
Oh, yeah, he did do that.
With the
He's
help
actually
of
Max
everybody
Johnson's
around.
father.
He's who?
He's Max Johnson's father.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Did not know that. But I did.
Okay, so Jeff Hafley is actually Vince Lombardi.
Jeff Hafley looks like he's on crack half the time.
He does, but maybe he's not actually on crack. Maybe that's a ruse to make you believe that he's incompetent.
What, is he trying to be a possum or he just plays dead?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, Adam Gase looked like he was on crack all the time, and he was probably one of the worst coaches in history. So.
Jalen Waddle was a cancer secretly. We didn't know this, but now we do. Okay, and we don't now. Now I'm just speculating, but like ahead of the Super Bowl, we're gonna find out that Jalen Waddle was actually fucking cancer the whole time. Like he was actually worse than Antonio Brown, and that's why he's gone.
You know, I don't know if you know this or not, but I was watching this video, and it was by Pac. Well, it wasn't by him, but like they had Pac-Man Jones on their show, and he said, "Man, Antonio Brown wasn't knocked out.
He wasn't."
Because of when Vontae's perfect hit him. He was like, nah, that dude was like, help me. Hey, that dude was knocked out.
What? Did people think he was knocked out? He wasn't knocked out.
I just found it funny. It was like,
yeah, Pac-Man's first of all, Pac-Man's a dick. Second of all, he wasn't knocked out, and Antonio Brown did kind of milk it. Now, he also he did have a concussion and needed to go, and obviously wasn't able to play in the next game and everything like that. But the things that you're saying that Pac-Man said, like those are not entirely untrue. Like Antonio Brown did milk that a little bit.
Hey, I never said it wasn't true.
But he also had a concussion, so like he had an active concussion in the moment. So, you know, the milking it may not be entirely something that he was making the active choice to do. It may have just been his natural brain reaction to what was happening.
Wow.
But he was not knocked out. And if he was, it was for like a second or two. But I mean, like you can see him moving on. I mean, of course he wasn't knocked out. But did anybody think he was?
They asked him, hey, you think he was knocked out? And he was like, man, that boy wasn't knocked out.
Yeah. Pac-Man Jones is an interesting person. But, you know. Right. He's also not on the Miami Dolphins. And that is also going to help them because they don't have a 45-year-old Pac-Man Jones playing for them. If they did, that would be worse.
I think a 45-year-old Pac-Man Jones could probably make that team better.
Maybe. And the real reason why Miami's going to win the Super Bowl is because nobody's got a plan for him. That's I think about it. Think about who is planning to stop the Miami Dolphins right now. Nobody. So like Malik Willis just has to play better than expected, and then
the Dolphins owner is playing against the Dolphins.
Do what?
The Dolphins owner is playing against the Dolphins.
Well, yeah, but maybe he's not very good at that. Maybe he accidentally built a really good team that none of us saw coming.
The Dolphins GM making all those trades, that's what I wish that, or that's what, if I was Atlanta's GM, I would have done the same thing, man. Trade Bijan to the Saints, trade Drake London to the Saints, trade Kyle Pitts to Alaska, trade Michael Penix to the Netherlands, trade all the players that give them a chance at winning.
Also, like Malik Willis probably isn't going to get a concussion every 3 seconds, so that might at least help continuity.
I mean, hey, the year two it didn't get a concussion, he was an MVP candidate. So hey, maybe Malik Willis could do the same thing. Maybe.
Yeah, there. See, it's not completely. Well, anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
So I think we'll save them for next because we just had a very snarky conversation. So let's go back to talking about real. They're definitely not my pick, but they're much more realistic than the Dolphins. Let's talk about the Patriots.
Patriots, man. Drake May's development could make them a true contender after last year's Super Bowl appearance. What? What I do?
Okay, so Drake May,
he top 5
is going. It's not fucking top 5. For those of you who don't know, me and Mikey were emailing each other earlier this week, and I was basically just putting together my list of. I was thinking about doing that for this episode, as we talk about our, like we rank all the quarterbacks, but we have this to do, so maybe we'll come back and talk about our lists in full. But Mikey had Drake May in the top 5, and I was just like, "Are you on drugs?" Like Drake May, at one very specific point in time last year, you could have maybe made the argument that he's on his way to being a top 5 quarterback, but he's not currently. I don't even remember where I had him ranked, but I think I didn't have him in the top. Yeah, I didn't have him in the top half,
which is even more crazier. But you know what? It's fine.
He's got like top 10 potential, but top 5 is.
No, he top 5.
I don't know. Maybe if everybody else, maybe if like all of the other quarterbacks are like on heroin, then maybe Drake May's gonna be top 5 at that point. But like it's, at best, he's like top 10, maybe.
No, he's top 5. Dude.
Top 5 is an interesting thing to say. But anyway, he is he can be a solid quarterback, and because he can be a solid quarterback, the New England Patriots can be. I mean, like we saw last year, they made it to the Super Bowl despite the fact that Drake May, he played really well in the regular season. He was an MVP conversation. That's why Mikey put him in the top 5 for some fucking reason. But he was legitimately.
You just said the reason.
Yes, because he was in the MVP discussion at one specific point in his career. He was playing well. Okay, great.
But you're going to say for some reason after saying the reason, but you're going to say for some reason, but you just said the reason.
I guess what I'm saying is for some reason that trumps everything else about Drake May for you.
Look, I'm not saying Drake May. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback of all time or he's this perfect quarterback. But from what I saw last year, he had over 30 touchdowns, helped the team win 14 games. Made his Super Bowl.
There are just so many quarterbacks. There are just so many quarterbacks that I can think of off the top of my head who are better than Drake May.
If Matthew Stafford don't exist, Drake May wins the MVP.
Yeah, if you don't have somebody actually playing at a really high level for a team that actually played finished with a really good record and everything like that. Yeah, Drake May looks good by comparison. Fair enough.
Who was in the Super Bowl last year? Was it the Patriots or the Rams?
It was the Patriots, but not because of Drake May.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah, I do too, apparently. So anyway, to stop dunking on Drake May, he is a pretty good quarterback who I think has top 10 potential.
Top
5. And he does have if AJ Brown can make the transition and be at his peak with the Patriots, which I have some concern that's going to work out right away. But it could though. AJ Brown could work out right away. Great wide receivers are some of the types of players who actually does sometimes actually work out quite well with. When a guy just goes to a new team, they're still just as effective as they ever were. And so that could be AJ Brown this year, with Drake May, that offense. I feel like they still need a few pieces, but guys could develop, and that offense could theoretically be really good this year. The whole Mike Vrabel thing this offseason could turn into a rallying cry for them, basically,
Yeah.
I really feel like that Super Bowl hangover is going to be steep.
Oh, it's going to be steep.
But they could also be the most complete team in the division because I just talked about some of my concerns with the Bills, even though I said they're definitely the most likely team from that division to make it. But I do have some concerns about the Bills, and if stuff like that plays out, then the Patriots could legitimately be the most complete team in their division. And if the AFC as a whole has another down year, then why not the Patriots,
Right.
Can it please be football season already? Well,
77 more days.
Yep, we're coming up on it. I'm looking forward to getting like 5 hours of sleep half the nights, I guess. I don't know.
I don't believe in sleep.
Well, you're 16, so
17, first of all.
Okay, whatever. You're 17. I'm 34. It hits me a little different. All right, thank you.
17-year gap. I'm 17 and you're 17 years older than me.
Yeah, I never really gave that too much thought, but yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because you thought I was 16, so of course you didn't.
I just don't remember you ever saying, because like I've known you were 16 for the longest time. I don't remember you being like, today's my birthday, or this week was my birthday.
Last month was my birthday. And you know how I know that? Because you're like, oh, happy late birthday. Your birthday April 29th, my birthday May 29th.
You're assuming I have any, like, even a halfway decent memory of any kind at all.
You have experience.
Huh? What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. I was just trying to find a nice way to call you old. So.
All right. So speaking of things that we're going to have to reach for finding nice things to say about, how are the New York Jets going to win the Super Bowl this year?
You want the realistic option or the unrealistic option?
Both.
All right. So
because they're both going to be unrealistic, I promise you.
First, the realistic option. All 31 teams get into a plane crash.
That's not realistic.
It's more realistic than the mess I'm about to say.
I agree. That's my point. But anyway, continue.
That's why it's called the more realistic. All right. The New York Jets, the unrealistic thing. A talented young core, other than Geno Smith, because he's like 30-something, could take a major step forward. I'm talking about the Breece Hall. I'm talking about the Garrett Wilson. I'm talking about the Mason Taylor. I'm talking about whoever plays quarterback for that team. All the young guys, they come forward and they reach. They got it. And they go to the Super Bowl and they win. Okay.
I agree. Here, look. The most realistic scenario, okay? They're like, I mean, this is the best logic I'm going to be able to come up with for the Jets winning the Super Bowl, right? If the Jets win the Super Bowl, then they will have won the Super Bowl, right? Right? There you go.
When has your forehead ever been that big?
But my hat's just up.
Dude.
Okay, so you know what boggles my like just guys like this don't get full circles. I don't understand. Why is Geno Smith back with the Jets? Why?
Because
like
Jets thought
guys like why?
Because he was good 2 years ago.
This is the guy who had one of the biggest, if it weren't for basically every Cleveland Browns quarterback ever, Geno Smith would have one of the biggest flameouts of any quarterbacks when it comes to like the team that drafted him. Like, you know, with all that nonsense that went down with the way he was treating his teammates, and you know his very me first demeanor and everything like that. So that guy who you're bringing back to solidify your team, they must be tanking.
They've been tanking for the last 16 years.
Guys like Boomer Esiason, Cam Newton, those are the types of guys who get to go back to their, the team that drafted them when
Jimmy Graham.
He's not a quarterback, but yeah, that's the guys like that.
He retired.
Smith Geno Smith. No, like why? I don't understand why Geno Smith wants to go back to the Jets, unless that's the only team that.
Well, it wasn't his choice.
Gave him a con. Well, I think it was.
They
Yeah.
traded him over there.
Right. So that is fair, but you like that's still there's still the question's still kind of there. Like, maybe Geno didn't make the choice to go to the Jets, but why did the Jets think that Geno Stone wants to play? Geno Stone, fuck. Why do the Jets think that Geno Smith wants to play for them?
Funny enough, I saw a video yesterday of somebody like predicting team seasons, and this was the offseason. Y'all signed Geno Stone, and he's a Bills fan, and he said, "Y'all, I'm telling y'all, the Bengals signing Geno Smith was a terrible signing." And he said that before Geno Stone even played the game there. So I was like, "Hey, he knew."
It was a Bills fan who said this.
Yeah, well, Bills.
How he feels now.
What? Oh yeah, maybe I don't know. Oh yeah, now he plays for Bills too.
A lot of Bills fans this offseason have been trying to hype up Geno Stone. Like, look at this guy. He had, as you've said, he had lots of tackles apparently.
100 of them.
So anyway, Geno Smith and the Jets winning the Super Bowl is about as likely as me taking a shit on camera, right? But I could develop CTE right now and do that, right? So technically, by the law of physics, the Jets could also win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, like if Geno Smith is suddenly competent, calm, processing quarterback, and the Jets get an interception at some point this season, and Garrett Wilson turns into fucking Jamar Chase, then I mean the Jets can in that scenario the Jets can win a lot of football games, guys.
Yep, they can win all these games 2-0.
The problem is the blueprint for the Jets winning the Super Bowl is essentially the Jets. No, there is, and it's the Jets have to stop being the Jets, which I don't think they're capable of at this point in the offseason. I don't know if that's really realistic for any team ever to not be the same team next year. But
I think Ashley's down in the comments is probably the most realistic out of anybody.
Geno's getting pulled for his character/legal issues. Cade Klubnik turns out. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, if Cade Klubnik turns out to be the next Tom Brady, then yes, maybe. But you see, here's the issue. Like, the Patriots were pretty decent. Like Tom Brady went in and kind of kept the team going, and then they decided not to switch back to Drew Bledsoe. Like, the Jets aren't going to be good around Cade. Like whether Cade Klubnik turns out to actually just be the next great nobody quarterback, it doesn't mean that that's gonna be that much harder when you got a team that's so garbage around him. Like the Patriots were maybe not the Patriots weren't anywhere close to a juggernaut with Drew Bledsoe, but the Patriots were in the Super Bowl with Drew Bledsoe, and they were a team that you could realistically see maybe getting back at some point one day. And then Tom Brady just takes them and they do something fucking crazy. But the Jets are not that. The Jets aren't even close to that. The Jets are closer to being demoted to the UFL, which isn't even in the rule book right now. Like that process does not exist. And I would still argue that the Jets are closer to the NFL suddenly adopting that policy and kicking the Jets down to the next league than they are of winning a Super Bowl. But
I mean, the NBA has talked about doing that, so maybe the NFL could do it too.
Right, but since this is the episode where we talk about why the good things are going to happen, it's also really unlikely that the NFL is going to create a demotion policy. So maybe it is slightly more realistic that the Jets win the Super Bowl. You see, there you go. There's your take of optimism for the New York Jets.
All right.
Okay. Now that we've got the Dolphins and Jets out of the way, I mean, there's some other teams that it's going to be like
40 minutes to get to a division. Yay.
Well, okay. But there are going to be some other teams where it's going to be like, okay, this isn't happening. But I don't know if there's another team. There are other teams. The Dolphins and Jets are about as like ridiculous as you can get. Like
I
in
know
every
we're not
other.
doing the NFC today, but Cardinals.
Well, right, but we're only doing the AFC. That's why I said.
That's why I said that
So like,
first.
even the Browns, like the Browns are terrible and are almost certainly going to be terrible. But I could see a path.
The Browns win the Super Bowl more than the freaking Jets do.
What I'm saying, like, I don't know if the Browns will have a better record than the Jets or Dolphins this year, but
no, they will.
I think
Absolutely.
they have a better. I think they have more potential to have a good record than those two teams.
I think Browns could win 8 games this year. I think the Jets, if they win 8 games, everybody will be like, huh?
I think if the Browns win 8 games, I'll be like, huh? But like, if the Browns win the Super Bowl, I'll be absolutely, completely shocked. But if the Jets win the Super Bowl, I'm going to like try to. I don't know. I might go like try to bite an alligator or something because I must be in a dream.
But y'all got alligators over there?
No.
Okay.
Well, I can go to the zoo. Got alligators at the zoo.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. So that's the AFC East. I don't know why we spent 40 minutes on the AFC. Well, we didn't spend 40 minutes on the AFC East. We took about 20 minutes to actually get talking about it in the first place. So,
Goofy.
Let's go on to the AFC South. Yeah, let's do the South.
Our counterparts.
Yeah, in terms of likelihood that any of these teams are going to make it to the Super Bowl, probably about the same as the NFC South.
Never said that, but okay.
I think it's about pretty similar. It's like all of these teams, you could see a path, but like none of them I would bet being in the Super Bowl, except the Falcons. But the Falcons and the Titans, you see. So that, I mean,
the Titans are way better than the Falcons.
I don't know if I agree with that.
You had the Titans in the finals. What are you talking about?
I was very surprised by my own predictions. Don't forget, I wasn't trying to create a narrative. I was just picking game to game.
Dude, what? Did you get CTE while you were picking their schedule?
No, I just saw it was like, could the Titans win this game based on what they did last week? And
you went game by game, and you need to tell me that you found 11 scenarios where the Titans could win.
Well, 10, and it might have even. I think it might have even been 9. I think that might have been 9 and 8.
It don't matter. The Titans will be lucky to see 8 and 9.
Probably, but anyway, Houston Texans. Let's talk about them first.
Man, Houston Texans, man, over there in Texas, right? They don't win.
No, they're not in Texas. They're just called the Texans because fuck you.
Okay. Well, I ain't doing nothing, but okay. But the Texans, right? They don't win the Super Bowl because their defense gonna score all the touchdowns. They don't even need to put an offense out there. Derek Stingley, he's gonna lock you down. Will Anderson, he's gonna make you wish that you were never born.
Right.
And same thing with Daniel Hunter, because he's a hunter.
So my main thing for the Texans is like, can they fix that offensive line?
Nope.
And can they at least make it better? Because if they can make the offensive line better, then maybe CJ Stroud settles in a little bit better. And we've seen CJ Stroud look pretty good before. So if CJ Stroud can at least get back to like a baseline level of competence, and then you've got that defense playing the way it's playing, then I mean, like that script writes itself. Like how many teams have like really kind of not felt like the team you'd expect to win the Super Bowl, but it's because their defense is so damn good, right? Like the Baltimore Ravens. Phenomenal defense. Looking back historically, it's like, oh, of course they won the Super Bowl because their defense was legendary. But at the time, it was like, who?
Who are we talking about?
The whatever. See, I don't even remember his fucking name. The quarterback of the Ravens back then. Trent Dilfer. Yeah. I was like, really? That's the guy in the Super. Like, when the Bears got Rex Grossman in the Super, they didn't win, but
Drake May's better than Rex Grossman.
I was talking about Brad Johnson earlier in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Brad Johnson created Max Johnson.
I mean, I know at the time he was considered a great quarterback, but when you really look at how things kind of like devolved with Russell Wilson, and then you remember how damn good that defense was that year, you can make the argument that Russell Wilson was like a Brad Johnson type quarterback.
Brad Johnson created Max Johnson.
He did say that earlier. But yes, Ashley, that is correct. The reason keep them away from my Pookie Joey B. Well, okay, so that's not what I was gonna say, but the reason the Texans win the Super Bowl is because their defense is incredible, but like also their offense has to be more stable than it was last year. If they can do that, then great, right? Like if Nick Caley can get them adjusted, then
y'all play the Texans this year.
Maybe. Based on what Ashley's saying, I'm guessing we probably do. I can't remember. All right. Colts. Why are the Colts going to win the Super Bowl? Hey, Colts professor, this is your time to shine here. According to him, it's going to be because Chris Ballard is the greatest general manager of all time. Okay. Well, that's why he thinks they're going to win. So that's probably not going to happen then. But it's more realistic than the Dolphins. So why are the Colts going to win the Super Bowl, Mikey?
You're not the Colts going to win the Super Bowl, right? In this universe, because that young talent finally clicks together.
Young talent. The reason they were any decent last year was because of veteran talent.
And now the young talent's going to click together.
That's not how. Look, I can tell you personally. Okay. It's the why is your team going to be good episode. Stop it, Kyle. I'm sitting here. I'm trying to throw Lou Anarumo under the fucking bus, and I'm not supposed to do that in this episode. So what's really going to happen is suddenly Lou Anarumo learns how to coach young players and actually develops somebody for once in his godforsaken fucking life. And
so yeah, we both get to talk about the past coordinators that we all hate.
Yeah.
I talk about Pete Daredevil Carmichael. You talk about this Lou Anarumo dude.
But also, like, Daniel Jones has to actually be as good as, like, all of the reactionary talking
young Daniel Jones
last year. No,
he
not
said
young.
the name of a young dude.
Yeah, he's not that young at this point.
He's younger than you.
Everybody in the NFL is younger than me, except for, like, Aaron Rodgers.
Nick Folk. Don't forget Nick Folk.
I didn't even realize Nick Folk was still in the league, but yeah, he's older than me.
He played for Atlanta.
I don't know if anybody on the Bengals, other than like assistant coaches, are older than me. Like, I think I'm older than Zach Taylor. Yeah, I don't think. Well, you know what? I'm curious now. I'm only going to spend a few seconds on this, but
a few seconds later.
Who is the oldest person on the Bengals? Joe Flacco he's 41. He's a lot older than me. And Josh Johnson's 40. Do you realize that our two backup quarterbacks are both in their 40s? What the fuck are we doing?
I don't know.
But so to be clear though, other than Josh Johnson and other than the two insanely old guys, I am older than everybody else. Because Ted Karras is the next guy, and he's 33.
Oh wow!
So other than Flacco and Josh Johnson, I'm older than all those guys. So it's not crazy to say. Yeah, of course, Jalen Jones is younger than me. Like, that's duh. Almost everybody in the NFL at this point is.
Right.
Like, my draft class. If I had gone to like college and gotten to the NFL, my draft class would have been 2014.
Okay.
Bengals at Texans week 2. So there's your answer, Mikey.
Okay.
Now that you mentioned that, I do remember that. But anyway, the Colts win the Super Bowl. It's gonna have to be with Daniel Jones. Like, the way some people would put it, like Daniel Jones, the way he was playing in Indianapolis before the injury. But it's not just that. Like, if you really look at all the games that Daniel Jones played, there was like some good ones. There was also a lot of not so good ones. And Indianapolis, that veteran defense with Lou Anarumo being the only way he knows how to fucking coach anybody. Like, that defense was kind of holding things together, and Daniel Jones was playing well enough to win. So if Daniel Jones can actually get good, like consistently, then that could really help the Colts. And then, like I said, Lou Anarumo is going to have to actually fucking develop somebody. But maybe he does that. You know, he's been coaching for a long time. Maybe he gets it now.
I mean, he only took him coaching early in the year.
Do what?
I mean, he was good at coaching early in the year last year.
Yeah, when he had a bunch of veteran guys kind of taking up the whole freaking defensive roster. But the second that any of those guys got hurt, he had no ability to pivot.
Pivot? He couldn't pivot, which means it's a travel on the play, going the other way.
Exactly. Even though that's not a football penalty, but that's the point. That's how things are probably going to go with Lou Anarumo. But you know what? This is the optimism, episode. So that's not going to happen in this scenario.
Big
I'll
facts.
have a better analysis than that, but that's what we got. Jaguars.
Man.
Okay, here is the number one reason the Jaguars are going to make win the Super Bowl. It's because Travis Etienne was a cancer, and now they have shed the cancer.
I freaking knew it.
And Liam Cohen is an offensive genius who is going to propel them to greatness.
I'm telling you, Travis Etienne is better than a lot of people recognize. All right, Jaguars.
I was just taking a shot.
All right, Jaguars. So the Jaguars are going to win the Super Bowl because Trevor Lawrence will play at an MVP level.
Yeah, that would help for sure.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Trevor Lawrence is capable of that.
Yeah.
He's actually fucking good.
Won MVP last year, I think.
Do what?
I mean, he was I think he was one of the MVP finalists last year.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is capable of that. Like, we think of Trevor Lawrence as this guy who's like never really gotten together for the Jaguars. And I think it's fair to say he has not lived up to the expectations that he had coming into the league. But that's partially because his expectations were he's going to be the next Peyton Manning.
Right.
So I think, if Trevor Lawrence can turn in an elite season, which is totally within the realm of possibility for Trevor Lawrence, then that'll get them into the playoffs. And then at that point, if he really is playing at that level, then they've got a really good offensive coach there in Liam Cohen. It could click.
Right.
And if I'm going to be really honest for a second, and I'm not taking shots, I do think they're going to miss Travis Etienne to some extent because I think he's a good gadget type running back. I think he's the kind of guy that like you can use to kind of mix things up a little bit.
And it's happened. I never thought this day would come. The boy got smarter.
I've said several good things about Travis Etienne. What I said is I think you're too high on him. That's all I ever said.
Hey, he's from the range of 8 to 15. Wherever you want to put him is beyond me.
Yeah, I'd probably put him around like 14.
Okay, I was thinking more like 11 or 12, but okay.
I don't think he's a trash running back. I just don't think he's going to turn anything around. But he could be part. We already talked about this. He could be a single piece that helps the Saints put together a really good, diverse offense. I don't think Travis Etienne is going to be making the difference for the Saints, but he could be part of a good system giving them a piece they didn't have before, for sure.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, Trevor Lawrence really just turns into what everybody thought Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be.
Right.
It's really just about the offense, because like their defense is like not elite, but it's also not really particularly bad either. So it's really just like you can't really see the defense becoming elite and being the reason they make it to the Super Bowl. But I also can't really see their defense falling apart to the point where like the offense is going to be held back even if they're elite. So if the Jaguars just really get their shit completely together on offense, then I mean they could be as dangerous as anybody, honestly.
Right.
All right, let's move on then to the Tennessee Titans. Have some fun with this one.
I'll say this, Kyle. If the Titans are going to make the playoffs, imagine we say all this and the Titans are going to make the playoffs this year. Whatever. Anyways, in this land of make believe or Delulu, whatever you want to call it, the Tennessee Titans going to win the Super Bowl because a young roster exceeds expectations and catches fire.
Okay. Part of the reason and that I had them winning games is because I think I think their offense really could take a step this year. Now, Super Bowl seems lofty, but since we're talking about that anyway, I really liked a lot of the things that the Titans did this offseason. I'm a big Robert Saleh guy. I know you've expressed some skepticism about him, but I'm a big Robert Saleh guy. I'm also a big Brian Daboll guy.
Wait, hold on. Time out, Kyle. Hold on. I forgot to mention something. Also, another reason why the Titans win the Super Bowl is because all of their coaches are bald. Just think about it. All of those coaches are committed to looking ugly.
You think being bald is ugly?
Depends on who you are, but all of their coaches are committed to shaving their head. So if they can all just align, if they can all be on the same page like they were when they shaved their head, they could be like, they could teach their players how to do the same thing. Like maybe not shave off your head, but they could, commit to a Super Bowl.
I'm not trying to get in. I'm not trying to make this a podcast where we discuss whether men are attractive or not. But I mean, like Brian Daboll is definitely not like the greatest looking guy of all time. But I don't know. I think Robert Saleh pulls off the bald look pretty damn well.
Maybe.
So anyway, like I said, I'm a big Robert Saleh guy. I'm a big Brian Daboll guy. I do think that Cam Ward has potential, and I mean you saw it in flashes last year. Not enough, as he said we asked, and it was true about everybody. But he had some flashes. I think Cam Ward could take a leap, especially bringing in like a really talented guy like Carnell Tate. Okay. Brian Daboll, Robert Saleh. I love Wan'Dale Robinson too, personally, but that's maybe I'm a bit of a Kentucky homer with that one. But I think he really, I think he really could be kind of like you guys with Travis Etienne. I think Wan'Dale Robinson could be a good gadget guy to really kind of help put things together. They still need a few more pieces. I don't think they're quite like I had them making the playoffs, but like. I had them making the playoffs as like a barely sneaking in as the 7th seed in a weak division type of thing, right? Part of the reason I had the Titans making the playoffs is because I'm not high at all on the Texans or the Jaguars or the Colts.
Neither am I.
So
I'm not high.
I mean, this is just one of those things where I think like, potentially you could see Cam Ward taking a second-year leap because he suddenly has all this, like, he has way better support around him now than he did with Brian fucking Callahan. So, yeah, no, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but they could be a lot better this year than people are giving them credit for. And they could, in theory, if the AFC South is really that bad, they could theoretically win a shitty division by going like 9-8 or something.
Brian Callahan better head coach than Dennis Allen.
Well, yeah, but that's not exactly a very high standard.
I know.
I think Robert Saleh is a better head coach than Brian Callahan.
It's just a message, Titans fans. It could have always been worse.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I mean, like the Titans aren't winning the Super Bowl, but
Oh, you don't say.
You never know. Like I mean, like Cam Ward really has the potential to take a leap this year, and if that offense is good enough, then I mean they paid Jeffrey Simmons an ungodly amount of money, but yeah, I mean Jeffrey Simmons was a big part of what got him to the playoffs and like the AFC Championship at one point anyway. So I don't know. Jeffrey Simmons revenge tour.
Revenge for what?
Revenge for not winning a lot. Revenge for other teams beating it. He's probably angry about that. Get revenge on the other teams for
Jeffrey Simmons has never been angry at anybody in his whole life.
Well, I think you kind of have to be angry to some extent to play football.
I know. You're a defensive end. You are legally obligated to hate quarterbacks. I know.
He's a defensive tackle, right?
Defensive end, defensive tackle, nose tackle, ear tackle, left tackle, right tackle. It's all the same thing.
Oh, right. Because Dexter Lawrence had 0 sacks last year. Being relevant because defensive tackles and defensive ends are the same thing. I forgot. My bad.
Exactly. You just proved my point for me.
All right. Anyway, Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to the AFC West. Why are the Kansas City Chiefs going to win the Super Bowl this year?
All right, don't shoot.
They're not.
I could actually, honestly, I think they're probably my prediction to win the Super Bowl this year. Anyway, so.
I mean, I think they're a much more realistic option than the Titans. But
I mean, they got. If Patrick Mahomes can just be 50%, their schedule's manageable. Their team, I think, is better. Like, it's crazy.
No, you need Mahomes to be 100%, and he's not. But
she's going to win a Super Bowl. She's going to win a Super Bowl because Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes.
He's not, though.
But in this damn
Okay. Yes, you're correct. If Patrick Mahomes goes back to that, then they got a better shot than most teams for sure.
Like we don't know if he's gonna be good from the injury or bad, but like if Justin Fields start at football, they're gonna lose games. If Patrick Mahomes start, they're gonna win games. If Garrett Nussmeier starts, the world gonna be set on fire.
Yep.
And it's not a good thing.
All right.
Well, actually, that is a good thing. That means the Chiefs will be bad.
For me, the blueprint to the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl this year is basically, like you said, Patrick Mahomes is just totally back to normal. Which could theoretically, I mean, like he's been an alien before, so why couldn't it happen again? I guess maybe that's the PTSD talking. I don't know. But Eric Bieniemy being back, I mean, we're talking about a team that's basically trying to recapture their old glory days, which I think are over, but in this scenario, suddenly they aren't. Kenneth Walker could be like the best running back that they've had in the past.
Since Jamal Charles.
Well, yeah, I was just saying in the Patrick Mahomes era, but yeah, really since Jamal Charles entirely. I don't
think was Mahomes ever on the Chiefs when Jamal Charles was over there.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't remember when Jamal Charles stopped playing, but I want to say it was like the early 2010s.
Man, Jamal Charles is one of the most underrated running backs of all time.
I'm not even entirely sure Alex Smith was on the Chiefs when Jamal Charles was there.
Oh, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah. He might have been. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, Mahomes is obviously the key here. If Kenneth Walker is as good as he could be, then he could really give a lot of balance to the Chiefs' offense. My concern is that the Chiefs have never really been about balance. So I don't know if that's necessarily.
Jamal Charles, he was there till 2017.
Oh, okay, so he did play with Alex Smith then.
Yeah, he didn't play with Mahomes though, because he was cut February 28th, 2017, and Mahomes was drafted in 2017. So they never played with Mahomes though.
So he didn't play in he played in 2016, but wasn't there in 17. He was there on the roster. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So the Patrick Mahomes is really the key. Like I said, Kenneth Walker could give them more balance, and that could work. It's never really been the Chiefs' identity before to be very balanced offense, but it could work. It could do the thing. Kenneth Walker could really give them, because that's kind of what Travis Kelce did, right? Like, it wasn't really super balanced because it was still throwing the football, but Travis Kelce gave you something other than whatever wide receivers you had to kind of lean on. And so if Kenneth Walker can be as good as Travis Kelce used to be, then if Eric Bieniemy can adjust the offense to a new system, which we haven't really seen him do, but if he can do that, then that could work really well for the Chiefs. I have some concerns about that defense, but if the offense can be the old Chiefs offense, or at least as effective as the old Chiefs offense, then don't really need an elite defense. So I've got a lot of concerns about the Chiefs in general, and it's not just hate, but them being Mikey's pick to win the Super Bowl to me I think that's a bit much, because there's a lot of issues that the Chiefs have that need to be fixed to get back to where they used to be. But maybe they fix them. And if they fix them, then that is how they win the Super Bowl this year. All right, Los Angeles Chargers.
Man, and also I was going to say this. I don't think the person's in the chat, but I remember last time that we were talking about the AFC, and I said the Chargers could not close out big games. This person brought up the Eagles game. Are we really counting the Eagles game as a representation of why the Chargers can close out games? Do you not remember what happened in that game?
Not really, no. What happened?
Jalen Hurts turned the ball over 5 times. The game went into overtime. Well, Jalen Hurts turned the ball over 5 of them times. And the Eagles were in the red zone. And Jalen Hurts threw a ball straight to a Chargers defender for a tip interception. Are we really counting that towards the Chargers' representation of closing games? I don't.
You could look at that as Jalen Hurts throwing interceptions, or you could see that as the Chargers obtaining interceptions.
Justin Herbert threw the ball. Jalen Hurts threw the ball to the wide open guy was a Charger player. I could have intercepted that.
I'm not entirely saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't know if that's the fairest point when it comes to the Chargers. But yeah, even then though, it's like one game, and beating the Eagles. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm sure I could find examples of the Chargers winning important games. They've made the playoffs. They have to have won an important game at some point to get to the playoffs.
Look, I'm not saying Chargers,
but they just don't do it very often.
I'm not saying that they have not won close games, but there's also been a whole lot of times where the Chargers, they have the close game right in here where all they got to do is either play defense or offense for 2 minutes, and most of the time they can't do that. So, anyways, back to positivity. Unless you're an AFC West fan that's not the Chargers, or you're a fan base that hates the Chargers. But other than that positivity, the Los Angeles Chargers are going to win the Super Bowl this year because Justin Herbert, he's going to catch fire at the right time.
Yeah. Sure.
I thought we were being positive.
Yeah, fine. All right, well, why is Justin Herbert going to catch fire this year? Mike McDaniel's a really good offensive coach. He is. They're going from Greg Roman to Mike McDaniel. That's got to be an upgrade.
Right.
David Njoku, great pickup. Phenomenal pickup, really. He's
on fire, he'll be okay.
So I still have concerns about Justin Herbert in general. I've always had concerns about Justin Herbert. I had concerns about Justin Herbert going into the draft, and he turned out to be better than I thought he'd be. But coaching wise, the Chargers have got a really solid coaching staff now. Like, I mean, it's really hard to like look at their coaching staff and point at anybody and be like, that guy's a big problem. The one thing is obviously Jesse Mentor leaving is they're going to have to make up for that. But I do think that Justin Herbert is really well supported this year in ways that he may not have been as well supported in the past. He's got options. He's got coaching. I mean, if the offense is just faster and more efficient, they could just get it done that way. And all the defense at that point is just they don't have to be as good as they were last year. They just have to be competent.
Right.
So I mean, I'm skeptical about Justin Herbert's ability to actually play consistently at that level, but I mean, he's got the support network to do it now. So if it was ever going to happen, then maybe this year's the year, you know? So maybe that's why. Denver Broncos.
Man, Denver Broncos going to win Super Bowl because of two things. One, Sean Payton. And two, Bo Nix continues his rise with a loaded roster around him.
Yep. So for me, the main thing is Bo Nix.
Sean Payton.
Well, okay, so let me be clear. When I say that, I mean I'm not really that concerned about Sean Payton. Like my biggest pivot point here is Bo Nix. I'm just assuming Sean Payton. I'm just assuming Sean Payton's going to be as good as he was last year. You know, Sean Payton convinced me last year that maybe I was being too hard on him.
I told you.
But Bo Nix is really going to depend on what's going on with Bo Nix. If Bo Nix comes back from the injury and is ready day one and takes the next step and is, putting things together with that offense and everything like that, then with as good as their defense is, and their defense also has to stay good. But I mean, they just brought in Jalen Waddle, so I mean, their defense just has to stay maybe not as good as last year, but like not a huge drop off. And then Jalen Waddle and Bo Nix coming back just makes that offense hum real pretty. And if that happens, then like Denver with a much better offense last year, I could totally see them beating the Seahawks. The Seahawks were a great team, but part of we also can't forget that like the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl last year was something that me and you both predicted at various times during the season. But at the same time, when we actually got there, what we saw was the Seahawks dominate, but the teams that the AFC had in contention for the Super Bowl was garbage. Like the Patriots and the Broncos were probably like the 2026 Patriots, at least at that point in the season, and the 2026 Broncos at that point in the season might have been the two single worst options that the AFC has ever had in the AFC Championship going into the Super Bowl.
I argue the AFC Championship was the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because were the Seahawks like an all-time great team, or were they just up against trash competition with the AFC in the Super Bowl?
Maybe it was both.
I mean, maybe they were a really good team too. I don't know, but it's but the point being is if the Broncos can come back and be better on offense, and their defense is still at the level that they were at, then I mean that's the blueprint right there, right? Like Jalen Waddle makes that big of a difference. Bo Nix doesn't take extra time to come back from the ankle injury and is ready day one. That stuff happens, then the Broncos could build on what they did last year instead of that last year being a bit of a fluke, which currently it feels like, but they could completely change the narrative real quick.
Right. They could, but they won't, but they could.
So how are the Raiders going to win the Super Bowl this year? How are they going to do it?
I got two options. You want to hear them?
Is one of them all the teams died from something?
One of them is all 31 teams died in a plane crash.
Okay.
And the second option, the unrealistic option, is that new leadership sparks a turnaround.
Yeah, sure.
Because you know Kirk Cousins ain't gonna do it.
Look, I mean, let's be really honest. Like Clint Kubiak was a good hire.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not 100% sold on him, at least not yet. But yeah.
Well, yeah, he's got to prove a little bit, but I think for what the Raiders are trying to do, I think Clint Kubiak was a good fit. Let's say, obviously, Kirk Cousins isn't going to do much, but like, let's say Kirk Cousins is not getting it done and they make the switch to Mendoza quickly. And Mendoza is just exactly as advertised. You know, he phenomenal right away, especially because he's got Tyler Linderbaum there playing in front of him instead of whoever the fuck the Raiders were trying to put in front of Geno Smith last year. I mean, look, it sounds crazy because it is, but I mean, like if Mendoza is really that damn good, he's got
what I do?
The tight ends.
Brock Bowers?
Yeah, Brock Bowers and another guy.
Michael Mayer?
Yeah, Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers are could legitimately individually, if they had gone to different teams, they both could have been like the best tight end in the NFL at some point. And they're both on the same team. And if Mendoza turns out to be like good right away, then I mean that's a recipe for a really, really nice offense. You're still gonna need the wide receivers to actually fucking do something. But Ashton Genty is a really dynamic running back. I mean, like the pieces are there. The likelihood that it's all going to come together this year is probably pretty low, but it could.
Right.
That could happen. I don't see it written in the rules that it can't happen. You know, it's not going to happen with Kirk Cousins, but they might figure that out real quick.
I mean, hey, if Bengals could make Super Bowl, anybody can make Super Bowl.
All right, listen. The Bengals had Joe Burrow, okay?
Okay, and the Raiders got Fernando Mendoza. What's your point?
That's kind of. I was talking about Kirk Cousins, but that's kind of my point. If Mendoza turns out to be Joe Burrow, then that could happen with the Raiders. You know, if Joe Burrow hadn't gotten hurt his rookie season, there's a possibility they could have turned it around and made the playoffs. And who the fuck knows what happens at that point? Definitely would have happened if they hadn't lost all those like super close one-score games.
Right.
But you know, what if here nor there. The Raiders in 2026 are probably more likely to have like a Bengals 2020 type of season, like the year before the Super Bowl year. I'm not saying the Raiders going to Super Bowl next year. I'm saying the character of their season this year is more likely to be what the Bengals were in 2020.
All right, I heard that, people. He said Raiders going to the Super Bowl. Pack it up.
I did not say that, but okay. So anyway, last division, and that's the AFC North.
AFC North, man.
So why the Baltimore Ravens going to win the Super Bowl?
All right, the Baltimore Ravens going to win the Super Bowl because Lamar Jackson, he will carry his team through the playoffs without choking. Well, too bad.
I mean, you're right. That would be what happens if they win the Super Bowl. You're correct, to be fair. I mean, Jesse Minter's a really good head coach. Maybe John Harbaugh was a bigger problem than it really seems like, you know. And to be fair, if Lamar Jackson really had that much of a problem with John Harbaugh, maybe the change will actually generally benefit the Ravens. I don't see it working right away because it typically doesn't work right away. Even if the new coach coming in is really good. It's happened before, but it's rare.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like Lamar Jackson, fully healthy all season, balls out all year, another MVP season. Trey Hendrickson suddenly doesn't have a shit ton of back issues that hold him back all the time, and is just 2022 Trey Hendrickson again, but for the Ravens, which is an absolute horrific idea that I don't like entertaining. But if that happens,
Right.
Ravens. If that happens, the Ravens got to be the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Like, you want to talk about a team that, if they actually meet their potential, could be, and this is why everybody puts them in the conversation every year, because the potential is astronomical. But it's just like it's the same problem every year. They're taking too many bets that have a really high chance of not paying off. And I feel like John Harbaugh got blamed for what I felt was just kind of reckless front office management.
Yep.
But but Jesse Mancher's a good coach too. So I don't know if he's better than John Harbaugh, but maybe he is. I don't know.
Right.
All right. Do we have to?
Yes, we legally do. Hey, if it makes you feel better, next week I'm going to be tortured with the NFC South. So.
Yeah, we are going to have to talk about whether the Falcons are going to win the Super Bowl next week.
I used to think that nothing was impossible until you asked me that, or until you told me that.
Well, if you got to do it, then I got to do it. Let's talk about why the team that's got the city that's got really good Italian.
Why would the Pittsburgh Steelers win the Super Bowl? All right, I'll continue. You're welcome. You can send my check to the mail. All right, come on.
Why is the team that Armani's advertises in their restaurants going to win the Super Bowl?
All right, so the Pittsburgh Steelers going to win the Super Bowl in front of Kyle, God, and everybody because the elite defensive talent can win those playoff games by themselves, at least in this universe.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl this year because the blood demon makes a pact with Satan, and then the United States falls into in an abominable state where we're all just like constantly sacrificing goats to the devil himself.
Wait, why you guys sacrifice Drew Brees for? What did he do?
Well, I mean, this is the price of the Steelers winning the Super Bowl, Mikey.
Oh my God.
Drew Brees has to go.
No.
So now you don't want it now, do you? Now that you see the price. Now that you see the price, you don't want it no more.
What do I not want?
The Steelers win the Super Bowl because it results in Drew Brees being sacrificed.
I hate the Steelers. Why would I want that?
Well, it's not really the point. It's just more proof. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, give your reasoning.
I just did.
What was it again? Oh, right. Yeah.
Their defensive talent in the playoff games.
So in addition to all like the devil worship and like evil that will be brought forth into the world, I mean the most realistic scenario, which I don't know how realistic it is, but like the most realistic scenario is that like Aaron Rodgers just suddenly 20 years younger and just playing like that out of fucking nowhere. Right.
If Aaron Rodgers was 20 years younger, then you would be older than him.
Huh?
If Aaron Rodgers was 20 years younger, you would be older than him.
Yeah, I think if Aaron Rodgers was like 6 years younger, I'd be older than him.
Nah, dude's 42.
Okay, so 9 years younger then. Damn, Aaron Rodgers is old, dude. That's my point. What the fuck's he doing playing football? But just in this scenario, suddenly Aaron Rodgers is 28 again. I don't know. And he's able to stay healthy, efficient, processes everything at the clip that he once did many, many years ago. Mike McCarthy just doesn't actually just fucking fight with him all year like we're expecting is going to happen. DK Metcalf isn't an idiot and is just back to being like the physical fucking freak that was a meme at one point. Michael Pittman was legitimately a good pickup by the Steelers that I didn't like.
I love Mr. Michael Pittman.
I don't anymore. He's the devil now.
Okay, let's not call this man the devil. There's only one devil, and he, not him.
He is now. As long as he's playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he is.
No.
The defense is more consistent. T.J. Watt isn't washed. I mean, just like all this stuff. If the Steelers do all that, then they're going to win the Super Bowl.
And you're going to like it.
That's not what this episode's about.
No.
I'm required to talk about why it could happen, not saying I would like it.
Kenny Pickett won a Super Bowl.
Not with the Steelers, he didn't.
He won it with the Pennsylvania team.
That is correct, as a backup.
Technically, he did play in the Super Bowl.
As a backup.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's the. I mean, like, it's basically this wild ass experiment that the Steelers somehow think is going to work. Actually working. If that works, then yeah, they'll win it all. You heard it here first. If magic is real, and also the devil is real. If those two things happen, then the Steelers going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Browns. Why are the Browns going to win the Super Bowl?
Man, the Cleveland Browns going to win the Super Bowl this year because they got an easy schedule that could put them in playoff position.
That's the best you got.
Yes.
All right. The Browns going to win the Super Bowl this year because suddenly at the 11th hour, nobody saw it coming. Deshaun Watson's good again. Out of nowhere. Deshaun Watson suddenly just an elite quarterback again. I don't think anybody expects Gerald Verse to replace Myles Garrett 1-to-1, but he could be. He's expected to be a really good player. He'll probably stay a really good player with the Browns. Now, I mean, he needs somebody else to like play well in addition to him. He's not going to be doing it all himself. But I mean, they've got other guys who exist there in Cleveland probably. And so one of those guys could get the sacks. Todd Monken knows how to run a football team and is an offensive guy. So when Deshaun Watson turns out to actually just be the same Deshaun Watson that hasn't shown up in like half a decade at this point. But if he does that, then Todd Monken could like be benefited by that and be a great head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what happens when I smoke crack.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how the Browns going to win the Super Bowl this year is somehow. And if they did, it would be like a 7-3 football game.
Okay.
All right. Well, now that I did the hard part, we get to do the part I like, and that's talk about why the Cincinnati Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl. So, Mikey, you go first.
Man, the Cincinnati Bearcats are going to win the national championship because they got easy conference, right? And they're going to make okay, fine. All right, the Cincinnati Bengals.
They lost their quarterback to Texas Tech, and then literally the void. Apparently, we're going to talk about Brendan Sorsby after this. By the way.
The Cincinnati Bengals going to win Super Bowl because Joe Burrow gives them a chance against anyone.
He does.
If he's not dead. Okay, come on.
That's also correct. All right, so Bengals going to win the Super Bowl this year, which, boy, that rolls off so much better off the tongue than that other team I was forced to talk about. But the Bengals going to win the Super Bowl this year.
This is your show idea.
I came up with the idea, so I got to follow through with it. I'm forcing myself. Okay. But anyway, the Bengals going to win the Super Bowl this year. Because I mean, like as you said, if Joe Burrow stays healthy, then you don't really need a whole lot of anything else. The Bengals, as bad as the Bengals defense was last year, if you have a healthy Joe Burrow, they might have still won enough games to get in. You know, like Joe Flacco did well, very well. But as well as Joe Flacco did, Joe Burrow would have done better. And now you've got Dexter Lawrence solving one of the biggest problems that we've had for years and years and years. Bring in Boye Mafe, and like Boye Mafe is not Trey Hendrickson. Miles Murphy, even as he's gotten better at the end of last year, Miles Murphy's not Trey Hendrickson. Jamar Stewart's not Trey Hendrickson. Cash Howell isn't Trey Hendrickson. But all of those guys are on the upswing right now, except for I guess Cash Howell, who just got in the league.
I just threw up in my mouth.
And then obviously Shamar Stewart has to be on the upswing because it can't get much worse. But like, you know, you've got a lot of guys that if Dexter Lawrence can create opportunities, you've got a lot of guys who can like hit the home run, right? So
this ain't baseball.
And we no longer have Geno Stone. That's
Watch Geno Stone.
Not like Brian Cook is one of the best tackling safeties in the NFL, but it's not even about Brian Cook. It's just about not having Geno Stone.
God, let me ask you a question. If Geno Stone just happens to be in the Defensive Player of the Year race, what would you do?
Quit trying.
What?
Quit trying.
Pork trying?
No, I would quit trying.
You would quit trying?
I would quit trying.
Quit trying what?
If Geno, everything, I don't know. If Geno Stone is suddenly able to make that much of a jump, then clearly I've just got the wrong concept about reality.
I mean, Trey Hendrickson did. I mean, he left the Saints, and then he wants to become the best defensive player in the league.
Hendrickson was not garbage on the Saints. He wasn't what he became on the Bengals, but he wasn't garbage.
Zach Bond was garbage with the Saints, and he goes to the Eagles, and now, well, yeah, I'm just going to be the defensive player of the year list now. Appreciate you.
Zach Bond was also an incredibly young player. Like, Geno Stone is already who he is.
Oh, wow, he was a year older, almost winning the defensive player of the year. Oh, wow, congratulations, Zach.
No, what I'm saying is Zach Bond was, like, started on the Saints. And then went on to move to the Eagles, and then he actually hit his stride with the Eagles. The Bills are going to be Geno Smith's third team. Like, Geno. So now
you goofy.
Like Jeff says, it could happen. It totally could happen. Like, the Bengals are considered to be, you know, one of the teams that people talk about in the Super Bowl conversation. You know, like, they need to actually fucking do it. But, you know, the Bengals have the talent. It realistically could happen.
No, it can't.
It's not snowing where you're at. Unrealistic, Jeff. Now, as I said in the last episode, if the defense doesn't get it together, then we're just back to the same position we were last year. But if the defense is at least decent,
you know what I just realized?
What?
Man, you old.
You
said two people's names in the last minute.
That has nothing to do with being old.
Yes, it do. When you get older, you start mixing up people's names.
No, actually, it has a lot more to do with Geno Stone being that fucking irrelevant.
No, you did Geno Stone, and then you did Jeff.
His name is Jeff, though.
But you called him Jim.
Did I call him Jim? Oh, my bad.
I heard Jim.
I said Jeff. So anyway, if the Bengals can just get in the playoffs and Joe Burrow's healthy, then anything can fucking happen. So I mean, like, it's not exactly a very hard blueprint to come up with for the Bengals. Like, the Bengals are probably, like, if things work out. Now, I mean, the if is if things work out. But if things work out for the Bengals, the Bengals probably have like the highest potential of any team in the NFL. Now they got to actually hit it, but so anyway, that's all teams. That's all teams. We went through every single one of them. Now,
Brendan.
Yeah, I got two more things. We're going a little long here, but whatever.
LSU almost got Brendan Sorsby.
Let's just talk a little bit about Brendan Sorsby, not because that's what this episode's about, just because like he's the biggest news related to the NFL. What the fuck is he doing?
Not playing football.
Well, okay. I mean, his strategy. Like, what is he thinking? Like, why? He's trying to sue the NFL, and he thinks that's going to make things better for him. I mean, he's already got the CFL now saying like, we don't want anything to do with you. His only real like hope at this point is that the UFL just decides they'll take him, and that if the CFL won't, there's a chance the UFL won't.
He could go play backyard football.
Yeah, I guess he could. He could go theoretically do a lot of things, but as far as like keeping himself in football shape, about his only shot right now is the UFL, and that might not even really be that great of an idea because they play in the spring, so he'd have to basically play in the spring and then get to the NFL and just like go right back to playing with like a month or two of rest.
Man, dude, Brendan Sorsby, I think he might have ruined his NFL career before it even started.
I mean, I think he's gonna get in the NFL at some point. They'll probably let him in to like the draft next year or something.
Who's gonna want to draft him?
I don't know, but I think he'll get shot at least as an undrafted free agent, and he'll also be like a really high profile undrafted free agent. So he'll get a chance to get on an NFL field at some point. When, I don't know, but he's everything he's doing right now, you could really honestly just chalk up to a young kid being dumb. And the things that he's doing, like he's not, beating any women or anything. He's not abusing any children. He's not like, like the things that Brendan Sorsby's doing. He's not doing drugs. He's not doing. Like yes, what he's doing is really stupid, and he needs to fucking stop. And he's showing that he clearly has poor decision making skills. But we're not talking about Johnny Manziel here, right? We're talking about a guy who's clearly got a gambling addiction and is making a bunch of really stupid decisions in relation to that. But he'll get a shot at some point in the NFL, and I don't see any reason why he won't necessarily be able to act like an adult when he gets there. Especially after all this, he's going to have no choice but to act like an adult when he gets there. Although, my question is, who the hell is giving him the advice to like sue people? Like, why are you suing the NFL? Why are you suing everybody? Like, his agent's got to be an idiot. Like everything he's doing is just backing him into a corner of like giving him less and less leverage over everything and making himself look more and more and more toxic to everybody. I just don't understand. The question is, he up on his gambling? What do you mean? Is he up on his gambling? Is he done with the gambling? I don't know. He goes NAIA. I mean, I'm not sure. Whatever's going on with Brendan Sorsby, like his career is he's shafting his own career right now. I wouldn't say he's killing it just yet, but he's definitely putting the pieces together to kill it. If he doesn't get it. It's on life support. And it's like in a spot where it's like it could be on life support for a while instead of like just completely like killing it right away. But like, man,
in the coma, and the thing is going beep, like going beep, beep, beep.
Yeah,
dude is in the coma for he's gonna be in the coma for a year.
Yeah, he did win more or lose more at gambling. I don't know. That's an interesting question. I'm not sure it's all that relevant to the NFL because their concern is how it looks. They don't really give a shit if the guy's got a gambling addiction. They don't really give a shit about anything. They do, I think, give a shit about him not acting like an adult and basically flailing.
Fair, I think a lot of adults love gambling.
It's fair. I don't personally find it all that exciting, but I mean, I obviously like there's lots of I can see plenty of similar things that I've gotten hooked on in the past that probably have a similar appeal to gambling. So, I mean, I can see how it happens. I just personally have never really tried it and thought, wow, this is fun. I've always thought this is dumb. I'm just wasting my money. What the fuck?
Right.
But maybe if I tried betting on sports, I'd get hooked on that because I probably got a better chance of winning if I bet on sports than if I bet on. But I've sort of tried that before, right? Like I've not really like gotten really deep into sports gambling, but like I've done those promos on like DraftKings and FanDuel where like they give you like $300 for free, and then I go spend the $300 and then end up making. So I mean, like in my head, I'm like, oh, cool! I got like $100 out of all that. That's $100 I didn't have before. But the reality is, if I did that again, I would be losing $200. That's only I'm getting $100 because the $300 they gave me was free bets, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I've never been able to wrap my head around it, but I guess I can kind of see how people get there. But yeah, the only thing I wanted to say with Brendan Sorsby is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't know who's giving you the advice that you're getting right now. It's the same shit that people were saying last year with Shamar Stewart, the advice he's getting on like this holdout and everything like that. Like, it might not be the kid being as much of an idiot as it is all the adults in his life giving him terrible advice, but like it's got to be the case with Brendan Sorsby because like I don't think his lawyers are the ones, because like you read the statements that his lawyers coming out with, it sounds like they're phoning it in. It sounds like they're basically creating whatever excuse they can to justify why they're suing the NFL, not that they actually have a legitimate case for what they're doing. So what it is this Brendan Sorsby is pushing his lawyers to do these lawsuits. But the question is, why is Brendan why is Brendan Sorsby pushing these lawsuits? Like he like maybe that's his plan, but for a kid that age who's so stuck on gambling, I feel like there's got to be a lot of adults in his life that are giving him shit advice.
Right.
Is any of this Brandon stuff UC's fault? That's what some people have talked about. Like why isn't UC getting more flack for not catching this with Brandon Sorsby? But
maybe they didn't know about it.
Well, with as much gambling as he was doing, it's like it seems unlikely that they didn't know about any of it. But I don't know.
Hey, maybe he did it behind closed doors or did in secret or something like that.
That is one of my two alma maters. So, I don't want to get too deep into talking about UC here because I just don't know what's going on there. But I just real quick I wanted to touch on Sorsby and like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like you're making yourself look worse and worse and worse every time you do something, and it just chill, okay? So, last thing I wanted to talk about on today's episode is y'all seen those like memes that kind of go around on like Twitter and sometimes Facebook where somebody will be like, I had ChatGPT predict when each team is next going to win the Super Bowl. And then it's always just like interesting to see who wins what. So I decided like, I don't know how many of y'all know, but one of the things I mean, like my full-time job is I'm a bank teller, but a lot of where I like, stake my career and make my money is working in AI and like prompt engineering and stuff like that. So I felt like I'm better suited than most people to get ChatGPT to give me as realistic of an answer as ChatGPT is going to give me on giving me a realistic projection on when teams are next going to win the Super Bowl. So do you want to hear what I got, Mikey?
What?
So it predicted the Los Angeles Rams are going to win this year's Super Bowl. Fair enough. Originally, it predicted the Bengals, but then I was like, hold on a minute. Are you sure that you think the Bengals are going to win, or is this because I'm a Bengals fan? And it was like, no, it's because I got caught up with you being a Bengals fan. So, the next team, the next unique team to win a Super Bowl is 2028, the Buffalo Bills. It's got them winning in 2028. So I guess one of those two teams must win in 2029 because the next team has got winning. The next unique team winning a Super Bowl has got the Bengals winning in 2030, which would be painfully late for the Joe Burrow era, but it would be in the Joe Burrow era, so I'll take that, I guess. It's got the New England Patriots winning in 2031, the Kansas City Chiefs winning again in 2034, so it's going to be a bit for them apparently.
This is going to be on the Chiefs at that point.
I think that'll be like the tail end of Mahomes' career.
So yeah, maybe gets one and then goes into the sunset.
Something like that, yeah. It's got the Bears winning their, I guess, first Super Bowl in 2036.
Well, their second Super Bowl, actually.
Oh, yeah, they did win in 85, right? I forgot. The Ravens will next win the Super Bowl in 2039, which could realistically is post-Lamar.
Wait, what year?
2039.
Oh, yeah.
Realistically,
unless Lamar turns into the next freaking Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or Dan freaking Marino. Yeah.
With his playing style, that's really unlikely.
Right.
It's got the Seahawks next winning the Super Bowl in 2042. So the current team's just not going to get it done again. It's going to be after the next cycle, apparently.
Right.
We got the Broncos next winning in 2045, which could be within Bo Nix's career. I mean, he'd be pretty old at that point, but it could be within Bo Nix's career.
And it's like 20 years from when he was drafted. So.
Right. The Eagles, their next Super Bowl win will be 2048, according to this.
I mean, in 2016, the Eagles had no Super Bowls. Now they got 2 Super Bowls. So.
Yeah, and in 2048 they'll have 3, according to ChatGPT. The Texans will get one in 2052.
Okay.
The Packers will next get their will get their next Super Bowl in 2055. Which, according to ChatGPT, will be after Green Bay has stumbled into the next franchise quarterback after the next franchise quarterback that they stumbled into after Jordan Love.
All right, and what year was that?
Keep that loop happening forever.
And what year was that?
2055 when they win.
All right, so dang, all right, so that's what 31 years.
29 years, I think.
San Francisco. You're telling me that the Packers are going to have 2 franchise quarterbacks after Jordan Love, but win no Super Bowls from that time?
No. So Jordan Love will win no Super Bowls, and the guy after Jordan Love, who's also them stumbling into a franchise quarterback, will win no Super Bowls. And then the next guy, who is them once again stumbling into a franchise quarterback, will win a Super Bowl.
So the Packers going to go for 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks with no Super Bowl?
Are you counting Jordan Love as a Hall of Fame quarterback?
That's what ChatGPT say.
Okay, so according to this, would be 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks without a Super Bowl, and then they get another Hall of Fame quarterback and win it then.
Okay.
The 49ers will win their next one in 2059.
That's possible.
Yeah, that might be.
That would be a long time because their last Super Bowl was in the 90s, right?
Their last Super Bowl win was in the 90s, yes.
Yeah, last Super Bowl win, 1994 against Chargers.
Well, I mean, that would be about as far in the future. I mean, roughly about as far in the future as their last Super Bowl was in the past.
Right.
The Chargers will finally get one in 2063.
That's their first Super Bowl.
And initially, ChatGPT said it was going to be because Herbert gets one eventually. And I was like, Justin Herbert will be 65 years old. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Nah,
that's what ChatGPT said.
That's crazy.
The Detroit Lions finally get their first one in 2067.
All right, that's about I would say 4 years after your death. So you're not going to see the.
You think I'm going to die in 2063?
Yeah.
I was like Justin Herbert winning the Super Bowl at 65 years old. That's what kills me? Okay.
Well, also because you're old, but yeah.
So that would mean I'm going to die at 71 years old. I hope I'm alive longer than that.
All
right. The Cowboys will finally get their next Super Bowl in 2070.
Yeah, okay.
According to ChatGPT, it said the Cowboys win it again after the entire planet finally stops taking their annual hype seriously. The Pittsburgh Steelers will win their next Super Bowl in 2074.
Hey, at least you won't be allowed to see it.
According to you. Although, I mean, what would I be at that point? I'd be like if I did keep living, I'd be, I think, in my 80s by then. So maybe that's what kills me.
I mean, last time they won a Super Bowl, you were in a coma, so.
The Washington Commanders will win their next one in 2078.
Okay.
After another ownership change. The Jacksonville Jaguars will win their first one in 2083. And according to ChatGPT, it's because Trevor Lawrence finally becomes the guy. In 2083.
Well, so yeah, hold on, let me do the math. So we're in 2026 right now.
Yeah, so that's
so 83, 73, 63, 53, 43, 33. So in 57 years, Trevor Lawrence will finally prove that he's the guy. Okay.
Yeah. As like the head coach's dad, maybe. How far does ChatGPT go out? Goes until every team finally has their next Super Bowl win. So we're just it's every team, Jeff. On that note, the Minnesota Vikings are the next team to win a Super Bowl after that, or the next team to win their first Super Bowl since now, which for the Vikings would be their first one ever. In 2088. So have you noticed how we're going in basically chronological order here? Like the next team to win their first one since now, the next team to win their first one since now. So we're in 2088. You notice there's a team I haven't said still yet.
I know.
Yep. I'm just giving you a little bit of a warning. It's still going to be a while.
Okay. Well, I hope ChatGPT falls off a cliff and dies. All right, come on.
Well, on that note, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the next one. But in 2094, though, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will next win the Super Bowl in 2094, which will make you like you'll be in your 80s by then.
I'll be dead.
Well, actually, you'll be in your 90s by then, or dead.
I'll be lucky to see 50. Like, dude, good God, no.
If it makes you feel better, according to ChatGPT, you will never see another NFC South team win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Any of them.
Please tell me at least Please tell me the Saints at least got mentioned at least one time.
Every team gets a mention.
Okay.
The Saints also get a mention. The next team to win their next Super Bowl will be the Indianapolis Colts. After the turn of the next century in 2101.
Okay. So sorry, Colts fans, you don't win the Super Bowl in this century.
According to this, it's because the Colts are always one quarterback away, which has only really been true over the last 5 years or so. So I don't know about that analysis, but it does say 2101 for the Colts. The next team after that is another NFC South team, the Carolina Panthers, who will win in 2108.
Yeah, and I'm Jeffrey I'm Jeffrey Epstein.
That's not good. Why are you?
Neither are winning the Super Bowl.
Stop talking to me then. If you're Jeffrey Epstein, that's you're a bad person. I don't like you. The next team. Would you like to guess who the next team is, Mikey? After the Carolina Panthers?
The Saints?
No.
You're not going to say Falcons.
I'm going to say the Falcons. In the year 2116.
At least I won't be allowed to see it.
You won't be, no. According to ChatGPT, this is when they finally spiritually pay off 28-3.
What?
I don't know. That's what ChatGPT said.
And what year is this?
2116.
All right, hold on. Don't even say another word. Let me pull up the calculator app. Hold on. So, 2116. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right. I don't even need a calculator app, but I just want to do it just because I already know because it's 21 and 20. But 2116 minus 2016, let's do that in calculator. 212116 minus the 2016. So Atlanta's been paying that off for 100 years.
Yes, exactly 100 years after 28-3, they'll finally win another one. You, however, will likely be dead.
Good.
If you did live that long, you'd be 106. Which I had an uncle who died at 106. So, you could make it that long.
I'm not making it anywhere near that.
I mean, I'm just physically you could.
No.
The next team to win the next Super Bowl, well, I guess this would be their first Super Bowl, is the Tennessee Titans. In 21-25. I mean, look, dude, we're in 21-25, okay? At this point, I think it's perfectly reasonable to think that the Titans could win a Super Bowl by then.
Is the NFL even going to be around then?
In 99 years?
Yeah.
I think the NFL will be around. Now, what football will even be at that point, I don't know. But I think the NFL as an organization will probably exist because they're so powerful now. Like 99 years ago, Major League Baseball existed. So why couldn't the NFL exist in 99 years?
Because that's the past and we're talking about the future.
Yes, but the future is precedented by the past.
No, it's not. The past never existed.
The next team to win their next Super Bowl will be the New York Giants in 21-35.
Not the 2-15 midgets.
Well, in 109 years.
I can wait 109 years.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
The Miami Dolphins will win the Super Bowl. Will be the next team to win their first Super Bowl since now. In 21-48.
Dolphins haven't even won a playoff game in the 2000s.
Nope. But they will win one in the 2100s.
Wait, at least so is it also predicting Dolphins to never win a playoff game either?
Well, no, it's just saying they won't. The next time they'll win a Super Bowl is 21-48. And we have finally arrived. We finally arrived at the New Orleans Saints. Who will win their next Super Bowl. By the way, ChatGPT's explanation for this is horrendous, so you can take this with a grain of salt if you want.
Wait,
but
I can take this for what?
With a grain of salt. You can basically dismiss it because ChatGPT's explanation is terrible. But the New Orleans Saints will win their next Super Bowl in 21-64.
And the explanation is what?
The explanation is because that's when they'll finally get over all the Drew Brees cap hangover, which is like that seems like a long time. They're already in the process of getting over that, right? Like
we have a long fucking time. We have total shock. Like, yes, Drew Brees is great, but we have our quarterback. And second of all, we're perfectly fine in the cap space. What?
Yeah, I think
this is why ChatGPT is stupid now. This is why people that use ChatGPT grow up to be nothing but imbeciles, and they don't know what they're doing because they use ChatGPT logic.
Well, how could you possibly know that? ChatGPT hasn't. I don't even think ChatGPT's been out long enough for anybody to grow up using it.
Well, maybe the people that invented it grew up using it and they just waited to release it.
Were they like 7 when they made it?
Maybe.
Okay.
You don't know
There's
which
a
way.
lot of work for a 7-year-old.
Hey, Albert Einstein didn't speak for the first 5 years of his life, and yet he still became the smartest dude in existence.
But he didn't form the theory of relativity while he was 7.
Thomas Jefferson formed the light bulb while he was 2.
He didn't invent. So anyway, the Las Vegas Raiders are the next team to win their next Super Bowl in 2185. 2185.
Cool.
That probably checks out, honestly. The Raiders are a fucking mess. I think the most unrealistic part of that is that the Raiders will even exist in 2185.
Hey.
Next up, you've got the Arizona Cardinals, who will win their next Super Bowl at the turn of the next turn of the century in 2215.
So the Cardinals go from 3 centuries of no Super Bowl.
Yes.
Damn.
So ChatGPT's explanation for this, which may not be very logical but is funny, is the Cardinals winning a Super Bowl requires them to stop being the Cardinals for one entire season. I'm giving them time to practice. I respect that.
I'm giving them time to practice.
Yeah. Practice not being the Cardinals.
I mean, how can you do that? I mean, they've been the Cardinals ever since they came into the league. They were one of the first teams created.
Right. Correct.
It's like they've had a bunch of time.
The next team on this list, and the second to last team actually on this list to win their next Super Bowl, or first Super Bowl, is the Cleveland Browns, who will win their next Super Bowl in 2255.
I don't know what's more likely: the Browns actually win the Super Bowl then, or the Browns win the Super Bowl ever.
Well, so what ChatGPT said is it was considering 4175.
What?
So I actually did the math on that. And how familiar are you with ancient history or Roman history, Mikey?
Depends on who you ask.
What? I'm asking you.
I don't know. Depends on the question about the history. I might know it. I don't know.
Are you familiar with the Punic Wars?
No.
Okay. Are you familiar with Carthage?
With who?
Carthage.
No.
Okay. So, quick history lesson. I'm not Tom Grossi, so I'm not going to be able to give you a full fucking slideshow and shit. But I am a history major, so I know my shit. So a quick overview. The Carthage and Rome were rivals in like trying to control the Mediterranean when Rome was still kind of growing as a republic and everything like that. And Rome beat the absolute piss out of Carthage. Like they had 3 wars. The first one, Rome won kind of by the skin of their teeth. The second one, Rome almost lost, but then kind of beat the piss out of Carthage. And then the third one, Rome absolutely fucking destroyed them at the end of it. So, I didn't really give a very intense history lesson there, but that's essential. Carthage was like the other major player in the Mediterranean, except
what does God do with the Browns?
So, what this has to do with the Browns is if ChatGPT went with its first inclination, which was 4175, then that would be as far in the future as when Rome destroyed Carthage was in the past. Like if you go back, it's like, I think 1900 something years. I forget the exact number. But if you go back that exact amount in time in the past, that's basically like 20 years after Rome like wiped Carthage off the map. So people would still
August 11th can't come soon enough.
Fair enough. Last team to win their next Super Bowl is the New York Jets, who will finally get their next win. Their next one, because they do have one. Fun fact. But the Jets will finally get their second Super Bowl win in 2300.
So the Jets go 20, 21, 20. The Jets go 3 decades from their or 3 centuries from their last Super Bowl.
Almost 4. So ChatGPT's explanation of this was every rebuild comes with a free rake to step on.
A free rake?
Rake. You know the gag that like somebody steps on a rake and it hits them in the face?
Yeah. What does that got to do with the rebuild?
Because that's the equivalent of the Jets trying to rebuild is stepping on a rake and hitting themselves in the face.
Oh, they step on rake, which kills Kyle in 2063.
Well, if that happens, oh shit. If that happens, at least I won't have to watch the Browns win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Although I don't think I'm going to make it to 22:55 anyway. So, and according to this, the Steelers win in 2074. So at least I won't be alive for that if I die in 2063. Like if I can see the Bengals win once, then I don't know, I can fucking die whenever at that point. It's fine.
All right.
Jeff says, hope Mikey gets to see the Saints win one. But according to this prediction, there's no fucking way. Not without a time machine.
Well, guess what? It's a good thing that the NFL is played on paper and not on a computer.
That is also true. Because I think it's worth mentioning the ChatGPT is probably not very accurate.
Like, one time I asked ChatGPT, what's wrong with my brother? And ChatGPT gave me no answer. But there's a lot wrong with my brother. And I was like, are you stupid?
Yeah. All right.
So
well, anyway, you got anything else left to say, Mikey? Anything else you want to talk about?
Man, Terry and Arnold, dude.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know exactly what's up with Terry and Arnold. I don't really want to talk about it too much until I have more information. But that just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, what the hell? He's a ringleader of some kidnapping ring? What the fuck?
I just want to say this, Terry, and I hope you get your life around because I hate seeing young people. I know a lot of people be like, oh, this dude do bad thing. Now I got to wish that this dude was dead or I got to wish harm on this dude. I got to call this dude a terrible person. But I'm never going to say that. Like, the dude could have killed 25 people, and I still won't have the heart to say it. But I will say this, Terry. Get your life in order, because I saw you in that green shirt, and that's not a good sign. I don't know if y'all know what that green shirt means when they're in court and everybody's wearing orange and somebody's in green, but that means they're on suicide watch. So clearly something's going on behind the scenes. So,
I didn't realize that.
So yeah, something's going on.
All right. Well, anyway. That's all we got for this week. Next week we will go through all the NFC teams and talk about why they're going to win the Super Bowl, which Mikey will be very happy to know includes the Saints, and Mikey will be very unhappy to know includes the Falcons.
Okay. Man, the Falcons ain't win no Super Bowl. Like, even if I say they win a Super Bowl, y'all know it's April Fools.
But we're in June.
I don't care.
We will be in July when this happens.
Have you ever watched Charlie Brown?
Yeah.
Well, there was this one episode, right? It was Christmas morning.
I didn't watch all of it.
It was Christmas morning, and the freaking yellow-haired sister, I forgot her name. I think it was Susie or something. I don't know, but Charlie Brown's yellow-haired sister comes into the room and says, "Wake up! Santa came and he didn't give you no presents. April Fools." But this was on Christmas morning. So if that's okay, anything's okay to be April Fools. Because after that, she said, "April Fools."
Well, that's cartoon.
I don't care. I don't care if I watched that 7 years ago. I don't care. I don't care who cartoon.
Okay. July Fools. No, we can't. You can't just call it. Say any month. It's not how that works.
Saints going to beat the Jags. Jeff, I know you're probably not as familiar with the Saints schedule as I do, but we don't. Or are you saying in the Super Bowl?
I think he means in 21-64.
Like I said, ChatGPT can go suck a dick. But anyways, Saints winning a Super Bowl.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, the Bengals are going to win in like 4 years.
Anyway, bro, we already know when Saints win the Super Bowl. We already know it's going to be at least in 2028.
Yes, I agree. We do know when the Saints are going to Super Bowl. Are going to win the Super Bowl in roughly 140 years.
No, Saints going to win the Super Bowl in 2028. You know why? Because Brandon Perna said it. The NFC South Super Bowl cycle. I don't know if you saw, but there's this video of the NFC South Super Bowl cycle because apparently every time a team either makes or wins a Super Bowl, it goes in a certain pattern that's been going in for the last few years. And the next Super Bowl win from the NFC South is 2028 with the Saints logo next to it with the check mark. So, yeah. And also, third reason, the Super Bowl's going to be in Atlanta. Fourth reason, Saints should have won a Super Bowl in 2018, but no club. You want to know where that Super Bowl was? Atlanta. And 5, which is the 5th and most important fact of this all. The Falcons blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl. 28-3, 2028. Oh, hey, Majestic, how you doing?
Yes, we are indeed.
I haven't seen you in a minute.
Yeah, he pops in every once in a while at this point. Cowboys to the Super Bowl, easy. Well, you know what? We're going to say exactly why that's going to happen next week, Majestic.
No, they ain't.
Well, we're going to
win a Super Bowl for another 55 years.
ChatGPT, they're going to next win the Super Bowl in about 50 years. Not 55 though. It was 44 years. 44 years the Dallas Cowboys will win their next Super Bowl.
Oh man. It is more likely that Vecna comes and kills everybody with a sick mind than it is of the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl.
Yep, but next week we're gonna have to talk about why it's gonna happen. We're only doing AFC this week, Majestic.
That don't mean I gotta mean it.
I didn't say you had to mean it. Just said you have to explain it. Okay,
well, I'll make sure to call in dead for that part of the show, but then I'll resurrect myself when we talk about the Saints. Okay.
So you're okay with forcing yourself to do it for the Falcons, but the Cowboys, that's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. ChatGPT lied. I'm pretty happy with it saying the Bengals going to win in 2030.
I bet you do.
I mean, I'd rather see them win it this year and also the year after.
They did say they were going to win it this year, but you weren't happy with that.
Well, it did say that, but then I was like, "You're not just trying to make me happy, are you?" I remember
be realistic for a second. I remember last year I asked ChatGPT, "Hey, can you predict me the next 10 Super Bowls?" And the 10th winner was the New Orleans Saints. And Super Bowl MVP, you want to know who it was?
Who's that?
Derek Carr. And I was like, first of all, Derek Carr just retired a week ago. Second of all, Derek Carr would have been in his 40s.
So, I'm assuming you use the free version of ChatGPT?
I still use the free version of ChatGPT.
Yeah. So you're stupid. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's stupid in general. You really have to guide. I'm not trying to do a video on how to use AI, but I probably could. But I'm not going to do that. But ChatGPT has a bunch of tools where you can use it to get better answers and stuff like that. That's what I have it on here. The version you're using is both the old version and also without any of those tools. It's just fucking stupid. So trust me, I know what you're talking about.
Majestic. Derek Carr is already out the league.
Yeah, I was about to, but he's not. He retired already, so.
So, he is going to be out the league next season because he ain't coming back.
Well, anyway, speaking of not coming back, I don't really have a transit. I don't know.
I'm going to Ohio this year.
I'm not going to New Orleans this year. Most likely.
Yeah, because the Steelers, Bill Pickens don't know how to catch football.
So, just to be clear, I don't know when I would have been I would have done that because I made the bet, but I wouldn't. I couldn't tell you when that would have happened at some point, but I don't even know if I would have been able to do it by now. Like New Orleans that's going to take some planning for me to be able to get down to New Orleans.
I'm going to be in Ohio for 5 days.
That sounds good. I'm glad you have more ability to travel than me.
What?
So I'm glad you have a better ability to travel than me.
Yeah, we're going to be in the car for 10 hours.
Oh, you're driving. That's why. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess if I drove to New Orleans, then I could probably make it happen, but that sounds horrendous.
Maybe. Or maybe not.
All right. Well, anyway, that's all we got for this week's episode. We'll see you next week when we talk about why all the NFC teams are going to win the Super Bowl. And then after that, I don't know, we'll come up with some shit to talk about until there's actual football shit to talk about.
We do our top 32 QB rankings that you love so much.
We did both rank our top 32 QBs and haven't really had a chance to talk about it on the show. So maybe we do that afterwards.
Drake May top 5.
Oddly enough, if I recall correctly, Drake May might have been the only quarterback that we like. We had other disagreements, but that was the only one that was like, what the fuck for me?
All right, Majestic has a question. So what's your question?
All right.
I guess we wait for Majestic question.
Well, in the meantime, let me tell you about my theory as never mind. Which team has the best wide
receiver for? My team are what, Cowboys or Bengals? And I got to answer this question.
Excuse me?
I'll say okay, I think it's closer than what you're probably going to say, but I think it's the Bengals because the Bengals got depth. Like, yeah, they got the two. They got Cowboys. I feel like the Cowboys top 2. Like, obviously, Jamar Chase is better than CD, but I do think George Pickens is better than T. Higgins. But I think depth. Yes, I think depth-wise.
Talent-wise, yes, I'll give you that. Talent-wise. Yeah. But actual what he does on the field, T. Higgins has achieved his potential much better than George Pickens.
George Pickens had, 1,400 yards last season?
And he keeps shrinking when it matters.
When has T. Higgins ever came up when it mattered?
Several times. That's his whole thing. Like he's a big-bodied guy who is able to like. I mean, I like one of Joe Burrow's best ever throws was only accomplished because T. Higgins was basically big enough to get it.
Look, I think George Pickens is out. Like, okay, of what's today? Of June 28th, 2026. I think George Pickens better wide receiver talent than T. Higgins.
I agree, better talent, but better.
But I think the Bengals wide receiver room because they got Yoshavaz, they got some guys like they drafted a couple guys that I was a fan of coming out the draft. So I think the Bengals, I think they got a better receiving core. Cowboys, they got a solid, but they also lost some pieces too. Like I believe they lost Turpin. I could be wrong, but I think they lost. No, it was what was this man's name? I don't freaking remember. Jalen Tolbert, that's what I was thinking of. He went to Miami. But, let's see. If Pickens and CD stay together this whole season and perform well, I will say that the Cowboys have a better wide receiver. Well, you can't. It's not just about the top 2 guys. Like, I was actually debating earlier who is the best one. Like Atlanta, they got some top guys, but the Saints have more depth in that wide receiver room. And I think the same thing here. Bengals wide receiver room has more depth.
Mikey keeps
than that. So, like, yeah, CeeDee Lamb but if, like, the receiving core, like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they don't have to be, like, they don't even have to be just as good as those two in Dallas. But if the Bengals are, like, if the Bengals' third guy is better than Dallas' third guy, and, like, if the Bengals, like, depth at receiver is pretty good, I don't know. The Cowboys receiving room, they have to have like better depth. Yeah. Like, and maybe they do, you know.
So here's I'm just gonna do a 1-to-1 comparison here. Jamar Chase versus CD Lamb. Both great wide receivers. I think Jamar Chase, I think you'd be hard pressed to find too many people who think that Jamar Chase is not better than CD Lamb. I think that's pretty obvious. I understand your argument about George Pickens, and I think that probably a lot of people would agree with you. I don't know if everybody would agree with you, though. I think T. Higgins is. I think George Pickens has more talent than T. Higgins. I think that T. Higgins is more effective than George Pickens. At slot, I don't even know who the fuck Ryan Flournoy is.
He's solid. I ain't gonna lie, he's solid.
He ain't Yoshi.
That is also true. But
now I don't know if he's got a fucking drop problem like Yoshi does, but I mean Yoshi's like the other guy, so it's whatever. I think MVS is probably a better number 4 guy than anybody.
MVS.
Yeah, they just.
You know what? Never mind. Actually, no. Cowboys receiving core is better. Actually.
No.
Yes.
MVS is better than anybody the Bengals have after their top 3 guys, but again, their starting slot guy. I think we have a better starting slot guy. Our starting outside guy is definitely might be better than anybody in the NFL. Our other outside guy, I would argue, is better than George Pickens, at least as far as like actual results go. And then I think from what I've seen, Mitch Tinsley, I'd put him up against any of the back end of the roster guys on the Cowboys, like Anthony Smith, Kevontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo. Like you can't show me anybody there who I don't think Mitch Tinsley's better than, or I don't think Mitch Tinsley is better than Mitch Tinsley. So I mean, like I understand, and then we also got Colby Young in the draft. Like if Colby Young actually hits, Colby Young could be like in the same conversation as guys like T. Higgins and George Pickens. So like depth wise, I would argue it's about the same. The Bengals have like a couple better guys. And then as far as like the top 3 talents go, I think the Bengals are clearly better. The top 2 talents, I think the Bengals are better. Maybe not clearly better, because I do think George Pickens is, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is a great combo. I just think Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are better. And then depth-wise, I think it's pretty close. Now, I mean, at the same time, like Charlie Jones has just never turned into who we were hoping he'd be. And then anybody else like on the Bengals depth is basically just nobody. So I'll give that to you. So like this, as far as like number 6 and number 7 guy, the Bengals don't really have anybody, but like at that point, I think we're really not, it really doesn't matter that much.
Right.
If Pickens and CD stay together the whole season, perform well, I will then say Cowboys have a better wide receiver duo. Vikings have easily the best wide receiver core. Yeah, overall, like if Jordan Addison continues being as great as Jordan Addison is, then like I think like Jordan Addison's better than T. Higgins. And George Pickens for that matter. Now T. Higgins also does something that very few number 2 wide receivers in the NFL do. I mean, T. Higgins is basically like 80% of AJ Green. So
right.
Yeah. So anyway, we do need to get out of here. So that's pretty much it for this week, y'all. I'll leave y'all as always with a Who Dey.
Who Dat?
Out. Let me actually end the fucking stream this time.